I'm Duku Wilson with the news in detail. President Salva Kiir Mayardit on Monday presided over the swearing-in of 6 newly appointed Supreme Court justices, describing the event as a pivotal moment in South Sudan's democratic journey. Delivering a passionate speech at the State House in Juba, the president reaffirmed his administration's commitment to a strong, independent judiciary that upholds justice, peace, and national stability. SSBC's Alejandro Lotox reports.
Justice delayed is justice denied. This age-old adage reflects the growing urgency within South Sudan's judicial system, an urgency President Salva Kiir Mayardit addressed head-on during Tuesday's swearing-in ceremony of 6 new Supreme Court justices. In a firm and forward-looking speech, President Kiir stressed that justice must be timely, transparent, and free from interference, calling on the new appointees to embody the highest principles of integrity and impartiality. The president underscored the critical role of the judiciary in ensuring peace and upholding the rule of law, especially as the nation moves through a delicate transitional phase. He pledged continued government support to strengthen judicial independence and effectiveness.
This swearing-in ceremony marks more than a promotion. It marks a renewed trust in your commitment to uphold justice in our country. I congratulate you for this mission that you are going to undertake. Your promotion brings responsibilities as judges. You are not just interpreters of the law. You are defenders of fairness, quality, and the rights of our people. Let your conduct reflect the dignity of your office. The people of South Sudan expect justice that is timely and transparent, free from interference. Your service must be guided by principles, not pressure by law, not loyalty to the interest. I reaffirm my support for a strong, independent judiciary that serves as a pillar of peace, dignity, and national ability. May your work strengthen public confidence and inspire future generations to believe in the power of justice.
Welcoming the new justices, Chief Justice Dr. Benjamin Bakdeng expressed optimism, emphasizing commitment to addressing the backlog of cases and restoring public confidence in the legal system.
Together with my colleagues in the judiciary, we will clear the backlog. There are tools that we need to have in order to clear the backlog. Those tools, we are not going to wait for them after this judicial oath. We are continue doing the task to clear the backlog, and the tools will be subsequently.
Senior government officials, including the Minister of Cabinet Affairs, hailed the appointment as a boost to the justice sector. They described the judiciary as the backbone of good governance and urged all institutions to respect its independence.
Looking at the faces of the justices in front of me, I think your objective to reform the judiciary will be achieved. And with the leadership of Dr. Benjamin, I can't doubt his commitment as he has made it. And we really want to encourage you to change the face of our country in the judiciary.
We are expecting a lot from you. You have a lot to do in restoring the trust of the people. Already people are talking a lot about the judiciary in terms of backlog, in terms of the conduct of judges. Honorable Chief Justice, I think it is time to do something about the performance of the judiciary.
With 6 new justices on the bench and a renewed commitment from the highest office, the judiciary now carries the hopes of a nation seeking fairness, reform, and lasting peace. Alejandro Lotoc, SSBC News, Juba.
President Salva Kiir Mayardit on Tuesday received a detailed briefing at the State House from the Chief Administrator of the Ruweng Administrative Area, Stefano Hueo de Malek, regarding the general security and development situation in the region. Hueo informed the President about the current conditions in Ruweng, highlighting both progress and challenges. He reported that the area remains relatively calm, despite the presence of armed militias along the border. The Chief Administrator also outlined strategic plans aimed at stabilizing security and boosting local development efforts. In a positive development, we noted that the active participation of local communities in massive farming initiatives during the ongoing agricultural season, signaling a growing commitment to food security and economic stability. President Kiir welcomed the briefing and commended the administration's efforts in maintaining calm in the face of external threats. He offered guidance on strengthening local governance and instructed the Chief Administrator to ensure that peace, stability, and unity among the people of Ruweng and their neighbors are preserved at all times. The meeting comes amid ongoing national efforts to consolidate peace and bolster development across the country.
I brief him on key issues around security, especially Ruweng administrative area, and issues along the border, where I briefed the President on the presence of a number of actors and the requirement on our side, especially in terms of control at the border and our strategic plan in terms of controlling the border. And currently, the security situation in Ruweng administrative area is stable, but always remain unpredictable given the movement of different arms and militias along the border, as well as from the neighboring state, where we are also working closely with the counterpart, Governor of Unity State, to ensure that these criminal activities are reduced. Also, I briefed the President on our strategies toward providing security and stability in the area. Also briefed the President on our efforts towards agricultural production. I've also talked to him on issues that are affecting health sector. His Excellency the President welcomed the briefing and also gave guidance on a number of issues, especially around issues of security and also issues along the
Jonglei Wrestling Association pays a courtesy visit to Vice President in charge of Gender and Youth Cluster, Rebecca Nyandeng de Mabior, to discuss sports activities which they described as a unifying force that brings together diverse communities across the country. The association's chairperson, Deng Mach Gor, told media that sports is a powerful catalyst for reconciliation which promotes connections and healing through teamwork and mutual respect among the youth.
Nina Lela Bejai, Fibet Bita Naib Reis, Mama Rebecca, Alua Musulbe Cluster Bita Youth and Culture, Ana Guide Mada Bitai, Bita Wrestling Association. Kuna Jain Leziera, Shanejina Zuru, Bayan Bitawal kan asal gabli ayam nina jina wala ginau kwez so nina beshku rabbuna gulna rabbuna karim aizilo ayam wa aizilo ajat katir عشان نقدر يعمل أجار كتير في كلاس بتاعنا ده بتاع يوز عشان أجار بتاعنا بتاع يوز يمشي قدام ولازم يكون في تقدم لما زول زي ربيكا هيكون موجود وجسم بتاعه سليم هيعمل أجار كتير سو نينا بشكر ربنا ونينا ما بنقول كلام كتير كلام بتاعنا جينا هنا ده شكر عشان ربنا عمل حاجة كويس وبيه كويس وماشي قدام تمام.
The revitalized Transitional National Legislature, chaired by Speaker Jema Nunu Kumba, passed a motion for vote of thanks for President Kiir's landmark speech during the reopening of the first session of the Parliament. The motion was presented to the House by Mary Nawai Martin, the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs. Minister Nawai stated that the President's address underscored the importance of strengthening democratic institutions, promoting national national healing and reconciliation, restoring economic stability, delivery of essential services, and preparations for credible and peaceful elections. She added that these pillars are not only aligned with the aspirations of the people, but also reflect the spirit of unity and transformation. The House formed a committee to discuss the speech of the President and to report back within 2 weeks.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the President's address was not merely ceremonial. It was a comprehensive roadmap outlining government priorities, reaffirming our commitment to peace, stability, inclusive governance, and the full implementation of the revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. His Excellency's speech underscored the importance of strengthening our democratic institutions, promoting national healing and reconciliation, restoring economic stability, delivering essential services to our people, and preparing for the conduct of credible and peaceful elections. These pillars are not only aligned with the aspiration of our people, but also reflect the spirit of unity and transformation that this House is entrusted to champion.
It is time to take a quick break. Please stay with us. We are back in a moment. Welcome back from that short break. I am Duku Wilson and you are watching SSBC News. Moving on, training of the phase 2 of the necessary unified forces is set to commence in September this year. The chairperson of the National Transitional Committee, Kwol Manyangjuk, announces this development during a meeting with the heads of security mechanisms, including Joint Defense Board, JDB, Joint Military Ceasefire Commission, JMCC, Joint Transitional Security Committee, JTSE, TSC. Juk says the 3 months training will be followed by the deployment of the forces in December as part of the government efforts to create a conducive atmosphere for the 2026 general elections. As Gore Anthony reports, please watch.
Towards general elections by the end of the transitional period in 2026, pending tasks in the protocols of the agreement remain a major challenge. To tackle some of these challenges, the leadership of National Transitional Committee, Joint Defense Board, Joint Military Ceasefire Commission, and Joint Transitional Security Committee, in a swift move, with a new positive spirit and chapter, are turning away from the recurring installments in the security protocol, described as the engine and heart of the peace agreement, to a new dawn, an era of progress and productivity, coming rain or sunshine. It is worthy mention that the government have graduated more than 50,000 necessary unified forces in Equatoria, Upper Nile, Bahr el Ghazal regions from the SPLM-IG, SPLM-IO, and SOA, combined of national security, police, army, wildlife service, civil defense, and prison service, to defend, protect constitution, citizens, and the territorial integrity of the country. Some of these forces are not being given an assignment to discharge their duties effectively. In a meeting chaired by Ruweng Juk, the head of National Transitional Committee resolved to make steadfast resolutions and recommendations, including the urgent deployment of the remaining necessary unified forces comprising of police, wildlife, civil defense, army, among others, to pave way for the start of Phase 2, scheduled to take place early September, running for a period of 3 months, and the deployment take course by December 2025.
The country is preparing itself for the elections by the end of 2026. And therefore, the security mechanisms must work so that the peace is realized in the country. We agreed to see to it that the other organized forces, the police, the national security, the wildlife, the prisons, they take their own people and to go and deploy them so that the training centers are left vacant and be ready to receive the second part of the of Phase 2. And we have planned to see into it that Phase 2 begins in the first week of September, and training to go on for 3 months. By the end of November, then they can be passed out and be ready for deployment throughout the country. This will secure the processes of voter registration for the elections.
The chairperson of National Transitional Committee, Ruweng Juk, disclosed that his leadership would convene a meeting with the presidency to quickly address the pending issues regarding the confirmations of ranks of officers whose lists have already been submitted to the office of the president.
Confirmation of the ranks is already in front of the president, and I'll follow it up. I will follow this up, and we'll find a solution to it.
It is at this backdrop that the leadership of National Transitional Committee Joint Defense Board, headed by the new Army Chief of Staff, General Dawa Turjong, and his co-chairs, General Kongar Koth from the SPLM-IO and General Garang Aiya Kol from South Sudan Opposition Alliance, representative from Joint Military Ceasefire Commissions and Joint Transitional Security Committee, opted for a new beginning approach and a strategy that would restore trust and confidence-building measures among the men in uniform as they embarked on the implementation of revitalized peace agreement to create conducive atmosphere that would usher in general elections at the end of the transitional period in 2026. Gore Anthony, SSBC News, Juba.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mande Simaya Kumba, has returned to Juba following a high-level visit to Ethiopia and the United States. Speaking to SSBC, the minister stated that his visit to the U.S. focused on deepening cooperation with the Trump administration to support his newly announced policies. He conveyed President Kiir's gratitude, thanking the U.S. government for its historic support during South Sudan's liberation struggle and journey to independence. Significantly, Minister Kumba extended formal invitations to key American stakeholders to explore investment opportunities in South Sudan.
I had an opportunity to also highlight the overall objectives of my visit to the United States of America, in which I stated to the senior officials from the United States of America that I am visiting the USA this time
carrying a special message, a message of hope, a message of friendship from His Excellency, the President of the Republic, and the people and the government of South Sudan. I also stated that I'm visiting the United States this time mainly to reset the bilateral relations between our two countries. And again, I'm visiting the United States to find possibilities of lifting the visa restrictions and also to coordinate our efforts in addressing the challenges facing the Republic of South Sudan within the United Nations family. And most importantly, I'm visiting the United States this time to also offer an opportunity to the United States government and the United States investors to come and invest in the Republic of South Sudan. There also, I had an opportunity of conveying greetings and best wishes from His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit to his brother, His Excellency President Trump. And I also reassured the American government of our commitment as a government and people of South Sudan to continue working closely with the government of the United States of America for the best benefit of our two governments and people. And I also had an opportunity to brief the State Department on the peace process in the Republic of South Sudan and the current political, security, and economic situation in the Republic of
South Sudan and Turkey have renewed their commitment to fostering legal cooperation between the two countries. On Tuesday, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Dr. Ruweng Mamer, and the Turkish ambassador to South Sudan, Martin Ejin, discussed strengthening bilateral legal ties. The meeting also focused on enhancing collaboration through the proposed upcoming legal colloquium for postgraduate students, treaty framework development, and capacity building opportunities for staff of the Ministry of Justice. According to the ministry's spokesperson, Nyiban Mayom Tolba, the ministry commended Turkey's continued technical support in strengthening South Sudan's legal and institutional frameworks.
The Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs had the honor of hosting His Excellency Martin Ejin, Ambassador of the Republic of Turkey to South Sudan. The meeting was productive and forward-looking. The discussion focused on the key areas of collaboration between our two nations, particularly in the legal and educational sector. Among the central topics was a proposal for legal carnival aimed at postgraduate law students, an initiative designed to promote legal literacy, professional networking, and the exchange of knowledge within the community. Furthermore, the meeting addressed the completion of a legal framework for treaties on an essential step forward strengthening South Sudan legal infrastructure. A crucial outcome of the dialogue was the mutual commitment to support the capacity building of both legal and non-legal personnel within the Ministry of Justice. This will involve the development of a clear list of training priorities, which includes scholarship and specialized programs. We at the Ministry of Justice thank the Republic of Turkey for its continued support and partnership.
The Honorable Minister for Justice, and wish him all the success in his duties as minister. We have also discussed areas of possible cooperation and the concrete steps to be taken, and the legal framework that will also enable for the fraternal relations between South Sudan and Turkey to go forward, including in areas of trade, economics, and investment.
Government launches South Sudan Institute of Revenue Administration and the second phase of the Non-Oil Revenue Mobilization and Accountability Program, also known as NOMA 2, in a bid to strengthen national economy. SSBC's Emmanuel Patrick has more on this report.
The South Sudan Revenue Authority has launched the South Sudan Institute of Revenue Administration, SIRA, and the second phase of Non-Oil Revenue Mobilization and Accountability Program, also known as NOMA2. During the launching ceremony at SIRA headquarters, the Minister of Finance and Planning, Marielle Dongrin, says the launch of SIRA and NOMA2 reflects government commitment to capacity building and transparent revenue management.
The establishment of SIRA reflects the government's strong commitment to building a more resilient and self-sustaining economy. Therefore, on behalf of the Minister of Finance and Planning and the South Sudan Revenue Authority, I extend our sincere gratitude to His Excellency, President of the Republic, whose guidance made this a reality. The launch of SIRA comes with the responsibility to implement public financial management reforms to intensify revenue mobilization, enhance tax compliance, and prevent leakages in the tax system.
The South Sudan Institute of Revenue Administration, formerly the South Sudan Tax Academy, is located along Juba-Yei Road. It was commissioned for reconstruction and remodeling in March 2023 by the former Commissioner General Dr. Patrick Kennedy Mugoya. Although planned to be completed in 6 months, the work by Infinity Company Limited have stretched beyond 2 years. The Commissioner General Simon Akweideng says the launch marks a national investment in people and systems.
These two initiatives reflect not just technical projects, but national investment in revenue modernization, diversification, and sustainability. They form an essential part of the broader national agenda focused on enhancing trade facilitation, expanding economic connectivity, and promoting sustainable development across the Republic of South Sudan.
The Institute will offer a wide range of programs from technical training in tax and customs to leadership, soft skills, and stakeholder engagement. It targets SSRA staff, state authorities, clearing agents, and business organizations, as well as recent graduates. Abdullahi Kolibali, representing the African Development Bank, says NOMA2 builds on the success of NOMA1 to expand SSRA's non-oil revenue capacity.
This project, what we are launching today, is the second phase of NOMA, with additional resources of $6.5 billion, including the contribution for the establishment of the Institute of SRA with equipment, furniture, and training. The objective of NORMA 2 is to strengthen and build the capacity of South Sudan Revenue Authority to increase non-oil revenue mobilization and accountability.
For state governments, Deputy Governor of Central Equatoria State, Paulino Obede, says SIRA is timely.
This is the first time that the government of the Republic of South Sudan is having their own think tank institute related with policy making on public financial management. It will also address issues related to the tax harmonization, collection of taxes, and diversifying of the economy, and as well intergovernmental linkages.
The establishment of SIRA aligns with SSRA Strategic Plan 2022-2027 and the country's broader vision of building a self-reliant economy driven by non-oil revenue. The SIRA and NOMA2 project mark an important step in South Sudan's commitment to tax reform, transparency, and national development through capacity building. For SSBC News, I'm Emmanuel Patrick, Yei Road, Juba, South Sudan.
It's time to go for another short break. Please stay with us. We are back in a moment. Welcome back. You are still watching SSBC News. Moving on, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Hussein Abdelbagi Akol, on Tuesday met with Norwegian Ambassador Roar Hogsdal in Juba. The meeting aims to strengthening cooperation and Norway's support to the country's agriculture sector. In a statement, Ambassador Roar assured Norway's support to boosting agriculture. For his part, Minister Abdelbagi Akol thanks the Norwegian people for their continued support towards bolstering the agriculture sector.
Today I met with the Honorable Minister of Agriculture. We discussed the issues of food security, which is very important these days. We also discussed the current situation in the country, and we agreed on emphasizing the importance of returning to dialogue.
The Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Akwe Bona Malwal, held talks with the Chinese Ambassador Ma Qing, focusing on strengthening bilateral cooperation. The meeting centered on enhancing collaboration across various sectors between Juba and Beijing. Key issues discussed where China proposed international organization for mediation, with Ambassador Ma Qing calling for South Sudan to support the initiative. Deputy Minister Akwe Bona emphasized the government's dedication to further develop ties and fostering mutual cooperation between the two countries. Accounting officers and directors general from various institutions have convened on Tuesday at the Bank of South Sudan's headquarters to follow up on their previous meeting held on June 3rd, 2025 regarding enhancement of payment of salaries and government operations. SSBC's Abraham McCain reports.
According to officials who attended the meeting, this is part of the government's ongoing broader effort to eliminate ghost names from the payroll and embracing digital payment system, where salaries for the civil servants and organized forces are disbursed on every 24th day of the month to their respective bank accounts, a move aimed at minimizing the risk of carrying fiscal cash as it may trigger security threats to the public.
We are working all together to make sure that every civil servant gets their salaries. When it comes to internet or mobile banking, that is a responsibility of the bank to impose the use or the acceptance of the digital money by the retailers. Because sometimes we make laws, we sit in our offices and we don't follow up.
In his opening remarks, the first Undersecretary for Finance, Rob Nuerup, says it is crucial for the civil servants to have bank accounts as the Finance Ministry commits to the timely payment of salaries. Noy emphasized the importance of shifting from cash transactions to digital transactions and payment system.
Last time there were a lot of questions that especially the unclassified staff, that are they going to have bank account? We say yes, everyone. And the question of charges was also raised. We say we are going to consider that. We are going to have a discussion with the banks, in which already the government did that. He has a conversation with the bank. And charges are not going to be, especially for those who are receiving these minimum wage. So that's why we are here this morning. So what we hear from you, what are the challenges, whether it's something needs the Ministry of Finance to intervene, or the Bank of South Sudan. By this time, we want to make sure that all the civil servants they have their account. And that's why I'm here with the government. We have been consistently paying salaries to civil servants.
The Bank of South Sudan's Governor Dr. Addis Ababa Otto confirmed that he has begun embarking on monetary policies to ensure civil servants have accessibility to liquidity in commercial banks and mobile money service providers such as Mgrouj and Momo.
We have embarked on some policies that will help to ease the pressure on the civil servant and by extension the entire general public on the access to liquidity, and I believe we are almost there. I don't know whether this is the right forum to communicate this, but we are working on certain steps to ensure that accessibility and the issue of the challenge on the SSP are addressed amicably.
The Undersecretary in the Ministry of East African Community Affairs, Ben Gideon Mabor, highlighted immediate priorities to be done by both the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of South Sudan, including full budget authorization and digital transactions to ensure civil servants are not restricted from accessing their money, giving an example of people going to the banks and mobile money service providers and sometimes fail to withdraw cash due to lack of liquidity.
The immediate priority that the bank needs to do and the Ministry of Finance is full mandate and authorization of digital transactions so that people of South Sudan who have their money, whether in their bank account or on their mobile money, should not be restricted to meet their social needs. Because there are some people who have money in their bank account but they cannot pay their transaction. There are some people who have money on their mobile phone but they cannot pay their services. Simply because digital transaction is not yet popularized as the legal ways of paying.
Abraham McCann, SSBC News, Juba.
That's Abram Akem reporting there. Thank you, Abram. Moving on, Chief Administrator Stephen Weo de Malek paid a courtesy call on the SPLM Secretary General, Professor Paul Logali Jomi in Juba to seek guidance on enhancing the party's activities and services delivery in Ruweng administrative area. During the meeting, the Chief Administrator congratulated Professor Paul Logali Jomi for the winning of the trust of the President. He reaffirmed commitment to diligently serve the people of Ruweng administrative area with emphasis on development, peace and unity. The meeting underscores SPLM's ongoing commitment to intra-party collaboration and promoting national unity and development. Let's go for another short break. Please stay with us. We are back in a moment with more stories. Welcome back from that short break, and thank you for staying with us. Moving on, the Financial Intelligence Unit, in collaboration with the Civic Advisory Hub and the Relief and Rehabilitation Commission, organized a program in Juba bringing together representatives from local and international non-governmental organizations, charity groups, and relevant government institutions. A program aimed at protecting charity organizations from terrorist financial abuse. In his opening remark, the Director of Financial Intelligence Unit, Dr. Abraham Telar, emphasized the urgent need for charity organizations to prevent misuse of their fund for terrorist purposes. The Director General of Civic Advisory, Wanjala Yona, stresses cooperation among civil society sectors and government institutions, urging the participants to use the knowledge acquired to mitigate the risks of terrorist financing abuse.
Has a big role to play, but the government cannot do this alone. Civil society, religious leaders, donors, and local communities must also take part. We need strong partnerships and open communication. Let us remember that the goal is to keep NPOs strong, not to make their work harder. We want NPOs to stay independent. To our international partners, we thank you for your support. Please continue to help us with the training, resources, and advice. To all leaders here, I ask you to take what you learned today and share it with others. Let's keep talking about this topic even after today. Together we can stop terrorist financing, protect our NPOs, and make sure they continue to bring hope to our people.
The NGO sector, despite of the recognition of our work, we are not immune to this attack. So for these 2 days, we are basically going to introduce key concepts, key tactics that terrorism and terrorist and terrorism financiers might use to abuse you, but also share some good practices on how best to mitigate these abuses. How can you protect your charity from terrorism abuse? They're not magic answers. You have the solution. We are just sharing our experience.
Wildlife officers have been attacked by unknown armed group at Lantoto National Park in Torre Payam of Yei River County, Central Equatoria State over the weekend. In a statement to SSBC, the Director General of Wildlife Conservation Forces, General Kamis Adiang Deng, says the Wildlife Conservation Forces managed to repel the attackers, adding that one truck was burnt during the attack. General Adiang further added that efforts are ongoing to identify the attackers and searching for the missing officers.
Today, on the 20th of July 2025, while our rangers were busy in Lantoto National Park in Yei County, they were transporting bricks for building the offices in the park. They were ambushed on the way coming to the headquarters by an armed group in full uniform, heavily armed with machine guns and RPGs. So they managed to arrest 4 of our rangers, keep them with them, till a rescue was sent from the headquarters to investigate or to see the situation. And then they managed to exchange fires. Then our rangers managed to escape. And they report back to the headquarters. They are there now safely. The vehicle which was used for transporting bricks was burned to ashes by that group. Likely it is a well-organized group, well-trained, and likely to be a well-structured rebellion in the area, of
Boosting sports as a tool to achieving peace and unity in the region, the Bahr el Ghazal County's Peace Tournament officially inaugurates the new leadership for the 2025-2026 first edition. The tournament brings all Bahr el Ghazal counties together to play for peace and harmony as part of broader efforts to promoting peaceful coexistence among communities through sports. Speaking during the event, former press secretary in the office of the President, Tenyi Wekatenyi, encourages players to use sports as unifying factor, urging the new leadership to include basketball tournament next season. The sports spokesperson for the South Sudan Football Federation, Albino Kwek, assured the federation's commitment to supporting football, calling on fans to abide by the rules and regulations of football to avoid any damage of property of the federation. The president of Bahr el Ghazal County's Peace Tournament, Joseph Majok Anyar, urges sons and daughters of Bahr el Ghazal to support the tournament aimed at realizing lasting peace in the region. The first edition of the Bahr el Ghazal County's Peace Tournament will officially open on 31st July 2025 at the Juba Football Stadium between Jur River and Tonj North counties.
You are doing an amazing thing, because I have seen with this height, the height I am seeing here, if you put it in football, I think the head balls will be actually played in the sky. Because I have not seen even the one of Will, which is now ongoing. Don't forget, next time we also need the basketball. Those counties must also take the basketball into consideration. Basketball fits your height very well. You know, Ulol is doing very great thing in the basketball and has placed South Sudan number 4 in the whole world.
We will support that this opening game should be played in Juba National Stadium. On the condition that you must respect our stadium. We don't want violence. This is my words, delegated to me by our President General Agustino Maduot.
Our drawing for BCPT is done successfully for the first edition ourselves. I want to promise you that my community of Bahr el Ghazal, with your cooperation, I will take this sport of Bahr el Ghazal to the next level, and we will compete.
And this story brings us to the end of this Tuesday night news edition. From me, Duku Wilson, and my colleagues here at SSBC, we all thank you for watching and have a good night.